If you suddenly run out of cash tomorrow, or you realize you need, $100,000 to pay for your next purchase order, and you've got a day to do it, you're not going to have a lot of options, right? And you're probably going to get screwed with some high cost, predatory lender or loan, right?
Meet Nate Littlewood, founder of Future Ready CFO, who helps e-commerce and CPG founders gain clarity over their numbers and use cash flow and operations to drive real, sustainable growth.
But if you can anticipate these things weeks or months in advance, you have time to prepare and give yourself more options, and better you're likely to do. So anticipate and forecast your cash flows. Reduce the number of cash flow surprises that are sitting on your horizon. That gives you more time to prepare for them, and with more time, you've got more options.
What's up, everybody? This is Ryan Van Ornum, back with another edition of the Scaling Up Success podcast. Today, we're brought to you by Synergist, our friends over there that help you grow exponentially faster at a fraction of the cost. Go check out Synergist.com. I'm here with Nate Littlewood of Future Ready CFO. Nate, how are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing very well, Ryan. How are you?
Fantastic, man. So I'm really digging what you got going on here, and I'm really excited to jump into it and learn more about all of the aspects that you help people with. So sure. just tell us a little bit about what you got going on with Fracture Ready. Sorry, yeah, Future Ready, not Fracture Ready.
All good. Future Ready CFO is a fractional CFO consulting firm. So basically, I work with founders of early stage brands in the e-com and CPG space. The term fractional basically just means that I kind of spread my time over a number of different companies, because all of my clients, they're not really large enough yet to warrant having someone like me on the team full time. But essentially what I do is help founders get clarity with their numbers and finances, and try to take them from a stage where, they're overwhelmed or confused about their finances, and show them basically how they can leverage finance and numbers as a strategic asset to help them to grow their business faster and more profitably.
Awesome, man. Well, as you've kind of picked up speed and understanding your niche in your industry, what were some of the biggest challenges for you to grow your particular company to where it is now?
Yeah, well, I'd say far and above, the number one challenge is around, sales and customer acquisition, if I can be honest.
Yeah.
When it comes to selling the type of, product and service I do, it requires the customer, i.e., the startup founder, to be willing to be very open and vulnerable in terms of sharing information with them, right? I can see, their full accounting tools. I can see how much everyone's getting paid. I can see how much money they're making. And, the level of access that I need is pretty high. It's very different compared to, say, working with a media buying agency or a digital marketing agency. All they need is access to your Meta account or your Google account, and they can kind of do their things. So, there's some pretty significant trust hurdles that need to be overcome in order to get that sales process growing. And listen, I'd be lying to you, Ryan, if I said I have that completely figured out, but I've certainly made a lot of progress over the last couple of years. But that has, for me at least, been the hardest part of scaling a business like this.
So because what I've seen with smaller businesses as they kind of get off the ground is a lot of times they have these encounters with people that just be able to that one door kind of opens up an opportunity that you never thought possible. Did you have any of those as you were growing out your business right now?
Yeah, I'd say there's a couple of, strategic referral partners who have become pretty significant to my business. And these are mostly people who provide services that are, tangential or ancillary to what I do. So examples for a fractional CFO are like the CFO shops, right? If they deal with clients who are a bit bigger or, have slightly different types of business models, and they come across someone that's not a fit for them, then, that could be a great referral for me. Likewise, I've gotten some referrals in the past from, accounting tool providers, people that, help businesses with their accounting and bookkeeping and that sort of stuff. A natural kind of evolution when someone has got their bookkeeping and accounting taken care of, is that the next thing they're probably going to want to start looking into the future with their numbers. And that's, where someone like me comes in. So they've probably been the most impactful for my business in terms of referral. And, it's always good to get a warm lead. They're a lot easier to work with than, going
Right.
in cold. Yeah.
Right. And that's the thing is like building like these referral partners, building rapport with them. It's so much easier to be able to close deals when you're looking at somebody that actually can like vouch for you per se, of like,
Yes.
being able to make that connection for you. So
Yeah. Yeah.
what are you most proud about the journey that you're on right now?
I'm most proud of the work that I'm doing to empower and support people who are doing amazing things, right? My business exists to support purpose-led founders, and I want to bring an end to finance and a lack of financial knowledge and understanding being the top or number one reason that these businesses fail. Right. I have a tremendous amount of respect for founders and entrepreneurs, partly because I've been one myself for a while. I've started and run one of these businesses before. I know how damn hard it is. And I respect these people because they are brave enough to recognize that something about the status quo is broken and not working the way they want it to. But they're also bold enough to step out and have a go at fixing it. And to me, I just have such a tremendous amount of respect for those people. I mean, these are the people who are trying to make the world a better place somehow. And I get to be the guy that's, their wingman and supporting them and increasing the chances of their success. So, that's why I'm in it. And that's, where I get my warm fuzzies from, if you like.
That's awesome, man. Very cool. Hey, one thing that I see a lot, it doesn't matter really the industry, but like there's always like these trends that happen. Like what type,
Mm.
how do you stay in front of those trends that are happening and what you got going on?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I'd say in the e-commerce space, one of the persistent trends is, marketing widgets and shiny objects, right? Founders are perpetually being distracted with new marketing technology, whether it's a new analytics tool, a new tracking tool, a new sales channel, TikTok shop, whatever it is. And certainly in 2026, in the day and age of AI, the number of new tools and technologies that are becoming available to us is just absolutely phenomenal. Whilst I recognize and understand that there's a need to stay up to date with these sort of things, my fundamental business view is that the riches come from doing the boring stuff,
Sure.
right? Like all of this marketing stuff, I think we're moving progressively to a world where it's becoming more and more commoditized. I think customer acquisition and, creative content creation is going to get cheaper and easier and, everyone's going to be able to do it. And I think it's going to get harder and harder for brands to differentiate based on the quality of the marketing and the efficiency of their customer acquisition. So when AI normalizes that and everyone's on the same playing field with marketing, I think what's going to really set the winners apart from the losers is, let's call it the boring stuff, which is, product development, having a great product, having something that people actually really want to use and love, right? That is the
Right.
ultimate retention lever. And managing your inventory efficiently, right? Inventory is usually the single largest expense for businesses like this. But working with, founders and brands that I do, I see all the time so many reckless inventory management practices. People just wasting money on it, got too much debt as a result, paying too much interest as a result, and it's just destroying the financial health of their business. So yeah, I'm wary of the shiny objects in marketing. I think it's going to get harder and harder to differentiate there, and I think the winners and losers will be determined by who does product well and who does boring stuff like inventory management well.
Love that, man. Thank you for that insight. What's one thing that like business owners could do today or should do today that could prepare them for like tomorrow? Like, because there's so many things that are shifting right now. Is there one thing that you can kind of look at?
Yeah, well, I mean, that question is really the premise of my entire business, right? Like the entire reason why I do what I do is to help people see into the future.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the reason for that is the further and more accurately we can see into the future, the better that we can be prepared for it. If you suddenly run out of cash tomorrow or you realize you need, $100,000 to pay for your next purchase order and you've got a day to do it, you're not going to have a lot of options, right? And you're probably going to get screwed with some high cost, predatory lender or loan, right?
Right.
But if you can anticipate these things weeks or months in advance, then, you have time to prepare and give yourself more options. And the more options you have, the better you're likely to do. So I guess for me, it's really just anticipate and forecast your cash flows. You reduce the number of cash flow surprises that are sitting on your horizon. That gives you more time to prepare for them. And with more time, you've got more options.
I love that, man. Hey, one of the things that we do here on the Scaling Up Success podcast is to be able to
Mm.
get to know the founder a little bit more on a personal level. You up for a little rapid fire questioning?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. What book are you reading right now?
Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Oh, that's a good one. I like it.
Yeah,
Kiyosaki, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Very cool. Do you have like a bucket list travel spot you still want to go to?
I haven't, I mean, it's not a one particular spot, but the part of the world that I've traveled least is South America. I would love to spend some time there. I mean, I've been to Brazil, Argentina, and Peru, but really that's it in South America. I'd love to do a lot more down there.
Very cool. If you had like one superpower, like the X-Men or the Avengers, what's that one superpower you'd want to have?
The one I do have or I'd want to have.
That you would want to have.
Want to have, I guess, predicting the future
There you
accurately.
go. I like that. It goes right along with what your
Yeah,
career is
yeah,
in. I love that, man. Very
exactly.
cool. Are you an early bird or a night owl?
Early bird.
Do you have a favorite cheat meal?
Cheat meal?
Yeah, yeah.
I'd say probably spaghetti bolognese.
Nice. I like it, man. If you could have dinner with a historical figure, either living or deceased, who would you want to have that dinner with?
Wow. Who would I want to have that dinner with? I think one of the most interesting people I've ever read is, yeah, I think his name's Yuval Noah Noval Yuval Harari. I'm mixing up the name. The guy who wrote *Sapiens* and a couple of books like either side of that.
Yeah.
He's absolutely fascinating author. I clearly don't know his name, but I've loved everything the guy's written. He's a brilliant mind.
Very cool. Very cool. Hey, what was the first job you ever had?
First job I ever had was when I was a teenager. I was literally a door-to-door Tupperware salesman. I would go and put all of these brochures in my neighbors' letterboxes with a
Yeah.
catalog and instructions on how to order. And the company that I was working for was so tight ass that they actually made me go around a week later and pick up all of the catalogs
Oh
because I
my
didn't
gosh.
like they wanted to save on the cost of printing. So not only in this cover letter there, right, not only did I have to politely ask, "Hey, would you like to place an order?" But I also had to say at the end, like, "Oh, and by the way, if you don't want to place an order, can you please leave this catalog on the doorstep
Oh my
on
gosh.
this day so that I can pick it up?" It was absolutely horrible. I quit after like about a month and realizing that I was making like 43 cents an hour.
Oh my gosh. That's crazy. Well, that's a great story though too. Last one that I have is like, what's on your playlist, man? What are you listening to?
So the main thing that I listen to is a work concentration playlist by Ali Abdal. He's got this playlist that is called Study With Me by Ali Abdal. I'm not sure if you know who he is, but he's like a YouTube content creator and it's just all musical stuff. And I
Uh-huh.
listen to it for about half the day, like no vocals. I just
Yeah.
find it incredibly good for just concentrating and pumping out the work.
That's awesome, man. Very cool. Well, you crushed the rapid fire section, man. Thank you for being open and transparent.
Of course, thank you.
Absolutely. Hey, if you could go back in time and give your younger self one piece of advice, what would it be?
Whew. I would probably go and talk to the 21-year-old version of myself and tell myself to travel more, take more risks, make more mistakes, because I now realize that the most powerful learning and growth experiences I've had in my life is when I've screwed up really badly and made mistakes. I don't screw up all the time. Sometimes I win. Sometimes it works out, but I just think there's so much growth and personal development to happen from trying things, failing, and learning and evolving.
Isn't it interesting? I always, when I talk to entrepreneurs, I feel like the entrepreneurs are the biggest like growth and mindset people that you can talk to, like how they're constantly working on themselves because like you're a reflection of everything that goes into what you're selling, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Very
Absolutely.
cool, man. Hey, where do you see yourself in like 5 years?
So I would love to have grown Future Ready to about a 10 to 12 person company. I frankly have no personal or professional desire to be running a business bigger than that.
Yeah,
Making a few $1 million of revenue. I'd also like to launch my own investment portfolio. So investing in other businesses and brands and having, a portfolio of businesses that I'm helping grow.
very cool, man. If people are interested in your services, how can they get a hold of you?
Best way is either through the website, which is futurereadycfo.com, or on the socials. I'm most active on LinkedIn. Nate Littlewood is my name, and I'm pretty easy to find. I'm posting there basically every day.
Awesome, Nate. You've been an awesome addition to the Scaling Up Success podcast on the guest side, man. Thank you so much for your time today. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Ryan. Great to be here. Appreciate you having me.
Absolutely. Thank you to our sponsor, Synergist, for sponsoring today's episode. Until the next time, make sure you go back, like, comment, and subscribe to all of our on either our link or our channels on Spotify or Apple or YouTube. And until the next time, everyone, stay blessed. Take care.